United Nations inspectors put out a report today that left no doubt that chemical weapons were used to attack Syrian civilians on August 21st. The UN Secretary General today called it a war crime. President Obama, as you recall, had threatened a military strike to punish the Assad dictatorship in Syria, but a compromise plan worked out with Russia calls for the regime to give up all of its chemical weapons. David Martin tells us what the UN inspectors found.
The evidence of a chemical attack collected by the UN inspectors was, in their words, clear and convincing. It included samples of blood and soil, fragments of spent rockets, and interviews with doctors and survivors, all collected separate and apart from intelligence the Obama administration used to conclude the nerve agent sarin had killed more than 1,000 civilians. The chief inspector, Åke Sällström of Sweden, presented the report to UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon of South Korea.
The results are overwhelming and indisputable. 85% of the blood samples tested positive for sarin.
Ban said it was the worst chemical weapons attack since Saddam Hussein gassed the Kurds of northern Iraq a quarter century ago. But neither he nor the report itself said who was to blame, the regime of Bashar al-Assad or the opposition. The inspectors were not allowed to reach conclusions about responsibility, but that didn't stop Samantha Power, the American ambassador to the UN, from insisting the report confirmed what the Obama administration has been saying all along.
But the technical details of the UN report make clear that only the regime could have carried out this large-scale chemical weapons attack.
An appendix included photos of a short-range rocket known to be manufactured by Russia, which has long sold weapons to the Syrian regime. A second rocket was specially manufactured to hold a large amount of chemical agent, and in the inspector's opinion, could not have been made by amateurs.
The weapons obtained on the site, on the scene of this monstrous crime, were professionally made.
Inspectors were able to measure the angle at which rockets had struck and project their likely trajectories back toward areas which on U.S. maps are labeled as government-controlled. That stopped short of a smoking gun and did not change Russian Ambassador Vitaly Churkin's mind.
The allegations that, in fact, it was the opposition who used chemical weapons cannot be simply shrugged off.
After the report was issued, President Obama signed an order allowing the U.S. to provide chemical protection gear both to UN inspectors who will go back into Syria and to members of the opposition.
David Martin in our Pentagon Bureau tonight. David, thank you very much.